Hey y'all, Myria Com here again. Thanks for being here to listen to me ramble about stuff. I want to talk a little bit about, uh, it's gonna be kind of a downer of a recording, I'm sorry. I just kind of want to talk about something that I've noticed as kind of a trend that is not just a trend for me, it's a trend for other people as well. And it's not a good one. I only really, I thought this was just a me thing, so I wasn't gonna say anything about it or care about it or whatever. And then yesterday, I was talking to an old coworker, and she mentioned that things, like lately on Fridays, she's been getting like a depression hit between like 10 and 11 in the morning. Pretty much every Friday, like clockwork. And I was just like, huh. I have also been getting really depressed on Fridays. And then it kind of lasts all weekend, which really sucks because that ruins my weekend then. And weekends are like, the time where you're recuperating from your crappy week of work and stuff. So that's kind of a bummer. And I've noticed it from other people too. I haven't talked about it with anyone else, but no, I've just kind of noticed it. Friday, it gets to be to a point where we're all just kind of like, ugh, why are we even doing this anymore? Sort of feeling. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, I've noticed it for sure the last couple of weeks. Like last week, I had plans of stuff to do on Saturday. And then by the time I got home from work on Friday, I just kind of felt like I wanted to be dead to the world instead. And Saturday, I had no energy to do anything. I had no motivation to do anything. I literally just sat around and did nothing on Saturday last week. And that sucked because there were things I wanted to do that I could only have done on Saturday, and I didn't do them. Feeling it again this week. Yesterday, which was Friday. Yeah, it was about halfway through my day or so that I just started, getting that hit of depression as well, and I was just like, ugh, all of this is pointless and all of this sucks. And it's very annoying. And then today, I have had not a lot of motivation. I did go for a walk for like 45 minutes, and I have vacuumed my house, so hurrah, I got some stuff done. I did kind of a not great job of vacuuming, but I did it, so hooray. And now I don't know, I'm trying to counteract it a little bit by I asked people on Facebook if anyone wants to do anything, and someone was like, hey, let's go play bingo, and I'm like, I do not care about bingo, but I guess I will go out, at least. Bingo is not my thing. First of all, I'm not a fan of gambling in general, and bingo is gambling. Second of all, the last time I played bingo was at like a departmental retreat for work, and I cannot remember before that the last time I played bingo, so the whole time I was like, is this normal? Is this how people normally do the bingo thing? Like, anytime someone called bingo and it was a good bingo, everyone clapped, and I'm sitting here like, why are we clapping? Is that normal? Are we supposed to be clapping? It's not like anyone did anything. They kept track of numbers and letters being called. Is that worth applause? Is that where we're at in the world? But okay, whatever. So, and then when we were playing at this departmental retreat, oh my gosh, the person who was putting on the retreat had purchased a lot of like treats and prizes and stuff. And she just kept being like, oh my gosh, it's taking people forever to get a bingo. We're just gonna keep using the same card. Let's just keep using the same card. And we just kept doing that over and over again, and I'm just like, this is pointless. Why are we doing this? You're literally being the worst kind of person and being like, everyone needs to win, everyone needs a prize. What is the point of this then? Just give us the prizes if that's what you want. Like, if you want everyone to get a prize, why go through the rigmarole of playing bingo? Anyway, it was weird and stupid and annoying. But mostly I just don't like gambling, and I was more like, does anyone want to, what I was more thinking when I asked people on Facebook if anyone wanted to do anything, I was more thinking, like, does anyone want to just hang out? But that's fine, whatever. Anyway, so I am trying to counteract the whole swell of depression that is happening right now. I don't know how successful I will be, but hey, whatever. At least I'm trying. I'm gonna be late for the thing because they were like, hey, let's go do this thing, but it starts in half an hour, and I was like, I need a little more time. I have stuff to finish up. So, but yeah, I'm not sure how much of this has to do with why other people are feeling the depression vibe, the depression spiral starting on Fridays, but I think a large part of it for me is just that I've mentioned a lot recently on social media and in some of these recordings and stuff like that, that I don't really see a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see, maybe there is one, and it's just so far away that I will never reach it, but maybe other people in, like, later generations will, but I don't foresee things improving for people my age, which really sucks. And I feel like that's just been, like, my whole entire life. I was kind of, like, thinking back, and, like, Columbine happened when I was still a child. I was quite young. Not even in high school yet when Columbine happened. And that was, like, the first nationally recognized is not the word I want to use, but I can't think of the right word, like, mass school shooting. There may have been others before that, but that was, like, the first really big one that got national attention. And then a couple of years later, 9/11 happened. And that was a big national, like, tragedy and, you know, event that sent us into a war and all kinds of insanity. There has been, it feels like, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like there has been recession after recession after recession in my lifetime. Feels like when I was a child in the 90s, money was pretty good for most people. Even, like, I come from a, I would say, lower middle class family, and even that, like, it's not like we were really struggling, not like people are struggling now. And yeah, but it feels like since 9/11, basically, there's been, like, recession after recession after recession in my lifetime, and the idea of saving is just impossible to most people. I am doing it okay. I'm not doing a great job, but I am doing it. I'm not really lowering my debt very much, but my debt is not bad compared to other people. Because I just have student loans and a mortgage, and I don't have any other debt. But, like, financially, the world has kind of been, what is the word? Hostile is what I'm gonna say to people in my sort of position. Yeah. And then we've just had, like, wars, and we've had, every now and then we make some kind of advancement that feels great and meaningful and important, and then it feels like there's an immediate backslide, like, it's not 1 step forward, 2 steps back, it's like 1 step forward, 20 steps back. It feels like every meager bit of progress that is made as a society immediately gets erased and we immediately go backward. And it's just so frustrating. And I'm just really struggling right now with like, is positive advancement ever even going to be possible? I don't. It's hard to see a way for that to actually happen when every time we have had something meagerly good happen, it feels like someone's like, no, we can't have that, and they immediately try and undo it. And oftentimes they do undo it because, you know, unfair forces in the universe are kind of like, nope, we don't want that, so no one should have that. I'm thinking, like, in particular right now about student loan relief in America. Um, like the Biden administration was trying to do stuff with that, which I would think most people should be in favor of. Like, people on both sides of the aisle have student debt, student loan debt. People like conservatives and liberals have that. I know conservatives like to pretend that only liberals, only Democrats have college degrees, which is a weird thing. Like, I don't know why they think that's a flex, but like, there are conservatives who with college degrees as well. There are conservatives with student loan debt. Are they not struggling to pay that? I would think they probably are. And it's just like such a different world in terms of how much college costs these days in America compared to when, like, my parents were in school, for example. When my parents were in school, you could pay for your college, your classes and housing with a part-time job. Like, that was possible. That is not doable these days. So I don't like. I'm just gonna state that as a fact, and y'all can look it up if you want. I cannot think of a single place where it would be possible to be a student full time on a part time job salary. Unless somehow you're making a ton of money with your part time job. But that is definitely not the norm by any stretch of the imagination. So it's just like a totally different landscape, and it's very frustrating to me that there are so many people against the idea of student loan relief. I'm not even going to say forgiveness or cancellation or anything like that. I'm going to say relief. Like, the SAVE plan, for example. Was it perfect? No, but it lowered payments significantly for most people, and the people who needed it most, meaning the people making the least amount of money, it lowered their payments significantly. And it eliminated interest if you are making your minimum monthly payments, which in my opinion, the government shouldn't be making interest at all on student loans if people are paying them. If you are making your payments, and if you are at least making minimum payments, you should not be accruing interest. Because that is bullshit. The government should not be profiting off of people getting an education. That is bullshit. And that doesn't happen, like, anywhere else, really. Okay, I should say it doesn't happen in any other, like, developed country. It's freaking ridiculous that it happens here. It is just so ridiculous that everything in this country is a freaking... Everything here is just a business. Everything is about making a profit, and that is so ridiculous. Anyway, yeah. Got off on a tangent. My apologies. I was talking about the SAVE plan because it was a good thing. It was a step in the right direction, a step in a direction towards student loan debt relief for people. And certain people have been working doggedly since day one to get rid of that. And I'm sorry, why are we trying to get rid of that? The save plan was not making people like it wasn't completely like it's just so frustrating to me. It wasn't giving people a handout. It was just making it more affordable for people, making it so that people could pay something back on their loans. And yeah, forgiveness would be possible within a certain time frame, but that's like 20 years of you have to make payments for those 20 years in order to get that forgiveness. Getting rid of that plan while we are in an affordability crisis is stupid. It is. I mean, unless your goal is to make it so people cannot pay the things they need to pay. If that is your goal, if your goal is to send people, like, bankruptcy won't even help because bankruptcy doesn't make student loans go away. It can make other debt go away. It can't make that go away. So, I mean, unless your goal is to just completely tear people down, it makes no sense to get rid of a plan that was helping people make payments. So, it's ridiculous. It is proof that certain people in power do not care about other people. They don't care about, I'm just going to say they don't care about poor people because they're the ones who are going to be most negatively affected. And it's just ridiculous. I am so frustrated by it. I am. And it's another example of we were making progress towards helping people, and then 5 steps back. We can't do that. We're going to make it worse for everybody. While everything else is more expensive. While we throw ourselves into another war that makes no sense. For no reason. And another war that is also making things more expensive on top of all the other things that were making things more expensive. I'm just flabbergasted by all of that. And I think it's just so hard to see how anything gets better in my lifetime. And it makes it so hard to keep going. It makes it so hard to keep trying. It makes it so hard to keep, like, how do you know what the right decisions are financially, or in terms of a career, or in terms of anything right now? How is it, like, how can anyone make good decisions right now? What are the good decisions? Do they exist? It's very frustrating. And I have no one to talk to about any of this stuff, so lucky you on YouTube listening to me. You get to hear me ramble about it. Don't know if I will have time to get this actually done. Maybe I just give up for today and do it tomorrow. This is what I get for saying I wanted to do things with people, and then someone actually responding. I was sort of hoping no one would say anything so I could just continue to hibernate in my house, but here we are. Yeah, I'm just struggling with what the right thing to do is. How do you make good decisions for the future when it feels like there is no future? How do you make good decisions for the future when it seems like everything could fall apart at any moment? Even though this was all preventable, I think that's part of what is so frustrating to me, is that this was preventable if people had used a little bit more critical thinking, and people had thought a little bit further into the future than just immediate gratification. I think that is a big part of our problem, is that people just want a solution right now, and that's not realistic for anything that matters. So, yeah. I'm just frustrated. I'm suddenly cold for some reason. I'm just frustrated with the world, and I don't know why I'm continuing to do anything. But yeah, this is where I'm going to end this one. Sorry that it's been kind of a downer. I do apologize for that. This has been my Riacom being depressed and talking about how I am not sure. I'm not sure what to do in terms of anything because it seems like there is no future. I'm sure there is. I upbeat. There is probably a future. I'm just down right now. So, yeah. Thanks for listening, and I will try and chat at you again soon. Bye.